Here are my note cards. There's 7 of them. Being a college student, we are faced with the option of choosing from traditional resources to use for our courses or the option of going online with ebooks and other materials. With this, we see that technology is advancing every single day, and the leap that it's taken over the last few years is pretty breathtaking. With this, a lot of people are caught in the amazement of how perfect these electronic books and materials could be, but we fail to see the flip side of things, and we ignore what could potentially cause students and educators to fail. With this, if schools made a complete switch to online resources, completely ignoring traditional and steering away from the ways that have been taught in the past and still are to this day alongside of ebooks, a lot of students would not have the ability to perform as well as other students. Right now, the first point I would like to talk about is how schools are utilizing a mix between the both. Schools today utilize a mix between the both which allows students to learn in different ways. If we were to switch completely, some students would lose interest in learning on one certain type of material. If a student prefers electronic, he's going to perform better on that. But when he goes back to traditional resources, he will not perform as well. This can also lead to favoritism towards this, and this can cause students to not try while they're using the resource they prefer not to use. Another thing that I took from visual impairment's perception of digital media of an algebra textbook is that some students with visual impairments may not be able to perform as well because of their disability that they have. Seeing this, if students start to perform better using one, the teacher will have to adapt their ways to try to benefit those students. Lesson plans have already been made, and a switch could cause lessons to be more difficult if that complete switch is made. Most lesson plans are planned out in the summer by the teachers when school is not in session. A misconception about teachers is that people think that teachers only work during the school year, which is the most false statement ever. They have to devote their summers to making lesson plans and trying to figure out what they're going to do in their class in order to not have to worry about that so they can give their students the best possible ways to learn. Another thing is the quality could suffer if these teachers prefer not to use online resources. If the quality suffers, students' performance could go down because the teacher just had a lack of wanting to try to adapt to these ways. With this, going to digital, they are nowhere near ready to make that switch. In Ron Schweizer's article, Digital Classroom Takeover, posted in Technologies magazine, he said that interactive learning has a long way to go before it can make a complete takeover. Right now, the main concern is elementary level classrooms that have hands-on activities that will not be able to use those activities if a complete switch is made. Some may argue that interactive games or learning outcomes can be used on these devices, but some kids need to have physical objects and be able to see what they are doing in order to understand that material. Another thing is we have to think about some parents will not also be able to grasp what their student is learning because some parents have not learned what their students are learning while they were in school. So switching to online would cause not only the student trouble in elementary classes and even upwards of middle school not to be able to learn, but also their parents. Now, thinking of online resources, the key word there is online. With this, Wi-Fi can be a problem that could arise for some families. Based on their situation, which not all of us are blessed enough to be able to have Wi-Fi or all these resources that other students can have, this may cause a problem in learning outcomes. Also, another factor is the location of the child's house or wherever their residence would be. Wi-Fi signal could be terrible in one place but great in another, causing students to have to struggle in order to complete their work on time and be able to actually learn from their material while they are struggling to get their Wi-Fi to work in order just to access their material. Like I stated earlier, parents can struggle with this too because with it being online, it's technology. Not all parents are as blessed in using technology skills, So if a student is struggling, some parents may not know how to be able to help or even fix what is going on with their student's resource. This being said, some parents may also get frustrated and then lead them to petition to go back to traditional ways. Another issue that could arise would be families with low income, but along with that, it can also go into the school's income. Some may argue that the cost may be lowered over time with digital since they are not purchasing multiple books or materials, but the whole overall price for the online materials could send that way out the window. From iPads to MacBooks to Chromebooks, they are still expensive because they are amazing pieces of technology. With this, also buying the Wi-Fi to support all this at schools, at home, could be another expense problem for some families and some schools. This would be a major investment for some schools, and if a complete switch was made, some schools would not be able to buy top-notch materials for the student to use, and this could cause learning outcomes to plummet, and some teachers would lose their love of trying to teach the traditional ways because they are switching to online things that can teach their students without a teacher. Another thing is, with these schools already having good learning outcomes, there's no proven way that digital learning is better than traditional ways. Now knowing the real-world struggles of this, I would like to wrap up with my conclusion. Yes, digital resources have been around for quite some time and have been utilized in the classroom for a really long time as well. Seeing the variety of issues and even some of the positives, like being able to only buy one thing for all your classes, yet the overall cost could be detrimental to not only the schools but some students' futures. I want to ask you about your memories in school, and if you were able to use electronic and traditional, what did you learn most from? The traditional ways have been proven to stick in a student's mind longer due to certain pages sticking out to one or certain graphs in those pages or different examples of ways of learning. Traditional materials still have the edge over technology, but we may see a switch in the near future. I would like to leave you with there's not been any proven evidence that technology is taking over, but we need to keep the traditional ways in the classroom. Thank you.